Chicago has been a very exciting place to see the evolution of our neighborhoods, our culture, and our economy.
I love Chicago, and I think that the answers to today's problems are often at least primed by history. And so I had been very interested in MPC's history.
MPC has been really there from the beginning, shaping housing and land use policy from our inception in the early 1930s. And that started with a small group of concerned citizens who really wanted to impact the condition of housing in the city of Chicago.
That hasn't changed. MPC is still a group of citizens that come together to make our city equitable.
Equity is both an outcome and a process. It means that people have the resources they need to thrive, and it means that the people who are most impacted by decisions are involved in making those decisions too.
We've tried to evolve our process to include more collaborative advocacy with partner organizations, with community organizations. And if we're doing our job right, we are moving equitable policy change forward at both the state and the regional level.
There's community expertise in Chicago and in the region that can be tapped and convened in order to shape and drive the next policy agenda.
Convening is core to all our work at MPC. We're successful when we bring people together, and while we're together, we all feel like we're learning, and we leave motivated and optimistic about tackling really difficult challenges.
One of the things that I think that MPC does really, really well is build community interest and community consensus. Basically, it's hard to establish a goal without any advocates. It's also hard to solve a problem without knowing what people really think and feel about that issue. MPC does that really, really well. Our Great Rivers, for example, we talked to hundreds of people, and we found what they needed in their lives and in their neighborhoods. We understood how they felt about the city, but beyond that, we made them advocates for the river. We let them see what they could do to make the city better.
It takes a lot of people and a lot of organizations to push for change. The status quo has a lot of inertia, a lot of special interests, a lot of messy politics. And in order to overcome any of that, it takes a lot of people working together with different backgrounds, different expertise, different audiences that they can speak to, and that's how you make change.
When I think of some of MPC, big contributions to the housing space, it's been projects like getting employer-assisted housing stood up in the city of Chicago. It's been our work to help launch the Cook County Land Bank. It's been our work to help shape housing policy at the local level around the ARO and equitable transit-oriented development. And obviously, it's been the cost of segregation, which I think gave us a different lens to view our work, not just the housing work, but kind of across the issue areas that we look at, bring a stronger racial equity lens to our work.
The pandemic has stressed every system, including our transportation network, so we're still climbing out of that. But the work that MPC has done, I think, in transportation is emblematic of the evolutionary nature of our work.
If we're successful, MPC will also redefine affordability for the region in a way that accounts for actual transportation costs and what a lack of quality access to transportation means for individuals, families, and businesses.
For over 25 years, MPC has been convening folks in the water sector to tackle difficult issues like flooding, lead service line exposure, and water affordability. And we play this central role of bringing folks to the table to discuss some of these tricky problems and look at long-term plans.
MPC is not afraid to take on complicated, daunting topics. The fact that MPC is examining the city's entire zoning code and doing that through a lens of the impact on health and racial equity is just one example of how MPC is thinking towards the future.
We're adaptive, we're creative, and we are going to stick with this as long as it takes. The next chapter is still to be written. I'm so proud that MPC is part of writing those chapters.
There is no organization in the region that is better suited and has a track record of delivering than MPC to propose solutions to those problems, but also think ahead to where the possible needs to be so that we're not just addressing the current, but really shaping the future.